It's another Wednesday, which means it's time for some more zero waste tips. So I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces that I've got around the house to help reduce my waste or products that I buy that have zero or minimal waste. So let's get started with my first item. Perhaps the most important item is toilet paper. So normally you can get a set of toilet paper, nine toilet rolls, however many toilet rolls, but it all comes wrapped in plastic, and then that plastic has to be disposed of. These toilet paper rolls come individually wrapped in paper, but I got a huge box of these, and that's a really key tip that I'd give to you. If you're looking at buying eco-friendly products, often per roll of loo roll, they are quite expensive, but when you buy them in bulk, they become much cheaper. So I bought a box of about 48 loo rolls, and that will last me a long time. I don't think I'm even halfway through yet. It'll last me well into next year. Okay. Now this particular toilet paper, it is individually wrapped, so this outside paper can be recycled. But importantly, the paper itself is 100% recycled. There are no extra scents or chemicals that are soaked into the toilet paper, and 50% of their profits that they make go to help building sanitation systems, toilets in poorer countries who don't have that already set up. So it's helping communities around the world and helping my bum. Okay, staying in the bathroom then. In here, well, this is just a little tin, but in here I've got, surprise, surprise, just a bar of soap. Okay, now I used to have shower gels and shampoo bottles and all sorts of stuff, but then obviously we've got to deal with that plastic bottle. Sometimes can be recycled, but often can't. Okay, so a few years ago I switched to using just ordinary soap. Again, this is organic soap. It's vegan, so it hasn't been tested on any animals, anything like that. And I got a big box of them, and they've lasted me years. I'm still working my way through that huge box of soaps, and no plastic whatsoever on the individual soaps, no plastic on the box. That box can be recycled afterwards. Okay, so just wash myself with the soap. And I've got other soaps that are more sort of used for your hair, so they're shampoo soaps. Again, they don't come wrapped in plastic, so I'm not using any shampoo or shower gel bottles anymore. Moving into the kitchen then, one of the things I really hate is cling film, because you use it once, you often use far more than you need, you can't recycle it, got to go into the bin, and it can break down into really tiny pieces. Now, the reason people use cling film is to keep things fresh. For example, in the fridge, if you've got some leftover food, you put in a bowl or a glass, you want to cover it up. So what I've been using recently are these beeswax wraps. And these work in the same way as cling film, but you can reuse them. So they're sort of quite stiff, and because it's a waxy cloth material, you can actually press this over your glass or press this over your bowl to make a seal, and that helps keep your food fresh. And you just wash these in cold soapy water, and you can reuse them several times. And when they do fall apart, these can be composted as well. So ditch the cling film. I've got a set of 3 different sizes of these. I can just keep reusing them. The last thing is my tea and coffee purchases. So I do like a good cup of tea and nice strong coffee to wake me up in the morning. And I use ground coffee, and often I used to buy it in sort of plasticky foily bags. Can't recycle those. And then I discovered this particular type of coffee here, okay, and this bag is fully compostable. It's also organic, so it's got the Soil Association logo there, fair trade, so supporting local communities, but as importantly, completely plastic free this, so I can put this in my compost bin and that will break down. The other thing with my cups of tea then, I do sometimes use loose tea. Again, that can be a little bit expensive, but it's worthwhile checking out your main type of tea bag. Until recently, a large number of companies, their actual tea bags themselves had plastic in. which is a bit worrying given that that's going in your hot cup of tea and you can potentially be ingesting plastics in there. But also, if you put that used tea bag in your compost bin, that plastic part of your tea bag is not going to break down. So investigate what tea you like to drink and find out whether or not they've got plastic in their tea bags. And the brand that I've been drinking recently is this one here. They do fruit teas mainly. I think they do some ordinary teas as well. So they come in a little paper sachet because it's an individual fruity tea here. But the tea bag itself is fully compostable, no plastic in it whatsoever, and it's just folded very, very carefully, made very, very carefully so that you don't need any glue around the edges, and all of it can be composted. Okay, so those are my tips for today. Look at the loo roll you're buying. Can you support any organisations that are using recycled toilet paper and also helping communities around the world? Think about your shampoo and your shower gel. Can you swap to soap-based products which don't have the plastic around them? Can you ditch the cling film and think about other ways of covering up the food that you have in the fridge? And then finally, thinking about your hot drinks, your tea and your coffee. Can you find compostable packaging or as minimal packaging as possible for those? So that's my zero waste tips for today. And don't forget to tune in on Friday for the final episode in our series of Hopeful Fridays. See you then.